So I've had this video in the drafts now for a pretty long while, but with the recent news of Garrett Crochet heading over to the Red Sox for a massive haul, I think it's a pretty good time to bring this video into the limelight to showcase my immense optimism for the future of White Sox baseball, at least prospect-wise. Last season, the White Sox were the worst baseball team of all time. The superlatives cannot be overstated. They are coming off of the heels of a record-tying 21-game losing streak, costing them their manager in the process. They also broke the record for modern baseball losses in baseball history and had an abysmal offense with no starter being above league average. Safe to say, they were pretty terrible in every aspect of the game. However, that being said, 2 to 3 years ago, they had legitimate World Series aspirations with a quality team. And just as things can fall apart so quickly, the similar unexpected rise can occur as well. Even though many of those worthwhile players from the wonderful 2021 team have either been traded or regressed, the farm system that has sprouted because of such has given me immense optimism for a fruitful run of Southside baseball in the future. In this video, I'll be covering the young core pieces to eventually usher in a new era of White Sox baseball, how they got these prospects, as well as further moves to set themselves up for success in the future. But before we get onto this video, could you guys please hit the like and subscribe button? Currently, only 3% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if y'all do, not only would it help me grow my channel, but it also would encourage me to create more videos like this one for you guys. And without further ado, let's get on to the video. For starters, one reason for optimism has been the draft hauls that the White Sox have acquired over the past half-decade. Strong drafts have vaulted the White Sox farm system, previously considered to be one of, if not the worst farm system in all of baseball, quickly into the top 5 farm systems at an almost unprecedented rate. We've learned from teams like the Orioles, Astros, or Cubs that the most sustainable way to achieve sustainable success following a rebuild will be develop star players from the draft, and by initial metrics, the White Sox are well on their way into doing just that. For the past 5 years, at least their early round picks have begun to yield productive results. Starting in the 2020 draft, the White Sox were able to grab what very much may be the best pitcher selected in this draft in Garrett Crochet. Playing immediately in a White Sox playoff push in 2021 as a reliever, Crochet has struggled with injuries in his young career, including missing the entire 2022 season and only pitching 12 2/3 innings in 2023. However, 2024 was his breakout campaign. His first year as a major league starter led to immense success, and the White Sox were able to package his burgeoning stardom into a massive haul that I will dive into later. Nonetheless, despite no longer being on the team, Crochet still played a crucial role in the direction of this team going forward because of the prospects he was acquired for. And while the other high-end draft picks have not experienced the same level of major league success as Crochet, as they are still in the minor leagues, they exhibit similar levels of intrigue with their upside. 2021's first rounder, selected 22nd overall, was Colson Montgomery, a larger-bodied left-handed middle infielder who draws comparisons to Corey Seager and Gunnar Henderson with his left-handed bat. While he has seen his rate stats drop in AAA in 2024, he's only 22 years old facing much older competition, and has already posted career highs in both home runs and stolen bases this year. You can't coach the size, strength, and athletic abilities that Colson possesses, and should everything pan out, he has an intriguing profile atypical of a standard shortstop. Before the Crochet trade, Montgomery was likely the White Sox best position player prospect going forward and a top 30 prospect in all of baseball. He should jump onto the scene sometime early next year as the White Sox look to find a more consistent offense. And yet, despite the high prospect status by Colson Montgomery, Noah Schultz, their 2022 first rounder, taken 26th overall, takes the mantle as their top prospect. I was really high on Schultz going into the draft prospect that year, and so far he's lived up to my sky-high hopes for him. At 6'9", Schultz would be one of the tallest starting pitchers in baseball. Coming from the left-handed side in his extension, Schultz has thrown off hitters so far in the minor leagues with a career 2.25 ERA and 130 strikeouts in 96 innings. Schultz has the best slider in the White Sox system and a fairly good control for a pitcher of his size. In the wake of an emerging future White Sox rotation, Schultz likely has the best case to be the ace among them. And as for their 2023 first-rounder, Jacob Gonzalez, and 2024 first-rounder Hagen Smith, it's still too early to look at how their adjustment to the professional level is going to turn out, but considering their draft capital, they still have a great chance to turn into very productive players. Gonzalez likely has a chance to be called up within the next year or so. As a collegiate player drafted in 2023, he has a very solid glove in the middle of the infield to be an everyday second baseman or third baseman, although his lack of a consistent power outlet may not suit him the best over at the hot corner. As for Hagen Smith, the top 5 draft pick has become a top 50 prospect in baseball almost immediately, as he had a magical season at Arkansas and has nasty stuff from the left-handed side, with a fastball that sits in the high 90s, touching 100 at times, and a slider that is only outclassed by Noah Schultz. A top-of-the-line pitching prospect is Hagen Smith, with ace-level potential for sure. 2 nasty left-handers, probably 2 of the best left-handed pitching prospects in the game, both in the White Sox system. In fact, I'm willing to argue that within the next half-decade or so, based on the prospect talent alone, that the White Sox will have one of the top 10 starting rotations top-down in all of baseball. We've already covered their high-end draft picks, Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith, but they also have Drew Thorpe, a former top 100 prospect acquired in the Dylan Cease trade, who just graduated and draws some comparisons to Diamondbacks ace Zach Gallen, Jairo Iarte, a future middle rotation starter with a mid to high 90s fastball and great slider, and Grant Taylor, a 2023 second-round pick who has a high 90s fastball, a great cutter, curveball, and slider to play off of that. For even more pitching depth, Mason Adams posted a 2.44 ERA in 17 starts in AA. Colson Gonzalez was acquired in the Garrett Crochet trade and has a high 90s fastball with a great chance to stick in either the rotation or bullpen. And Kai Bush is a 6'6" lefty acquired in the Lucas Giolito trade with a deceptive mid-90s fastball coming from the left-handed side. A shorter Noah Schultz, if you will. With the star talent and depth pitching prospects all coming up within the next couple of years, both from the right and left-handed sides, the White Sox will have a bevy of potential future aces in their. And since great pitching is the first step towards building a consistent winning team, the White Sox can now see themselves at the end of their tunnel regarding this rebuild. But this doesn't mean that it'll happen immediately. And as if it hasn't been said enough, the White Sox were a terrible team in 2024. There are not many players on the roster that would be starting on any other team, much less a playoff team or a top 10 team. Since the White Sox brass basically have to work from the ground up, and many prospects are still a couple of years away before truly making an impact on the Major League roster, a realistic contention window opens up at the earliest in 2 seasons. Trying to find historical comparisons, the Orioles, after a horrendous 2021 season, almost on par with the White Sox 2024 season, really broke out of their rebuild late into the 2022 season and into the 2023 season. If you roughly compare the White Sox situation to the Orioles, basically adding a year because of the differences in their prospect call-ups, then they'll likely begin competing sometime in 2027 or 2028. And this is what makes the Garrett Crochet trade so crucial. By capitalizing off of the years of control he has left now, the White Sox can invest in a team that has a great shot on competing in just a few years. I was already on board with the Crochet trade before the news broke out based on the window of the White Sox only, but considering the haul that they got for him, I believe that it's safe to say that the White Sox are in a very good spot for the upcoming years, only bolstered by the Crochet trade. Now, Crochet is a great player, and yes, he's only 25, but he will become a free agent after the 2026 season. This is what makes the haul, full of controllable young potential stars, so crucial. We already talked about Colson Gonzalez, a young 22-year-old pitcher with a mid to high 90s fastball and power curveball and changeup, but he wasn't even the main piece. The real big pieces were Kyle Teel and Brandon Montgomery, 2 former first-round picks who might be cornerstones in the White Sox lineup for years to come. I've been really impressed with Kyle Teel's first 2 minor league stints since being drafted 14th overall in 2023. He was already seen as a strong offensive catcher coming out of the draft, but has since proved such in the minor leagues, with a combined OPS of over 840 in 138 games across 2 seasons, ranging all the way up to AAA. Defensively, he's likely to be average to above average, as he's athletic enough to have good receiving abilities and an above average arm to throw out base runners, and him, with fellow top catching prospect Edgar Caro, could be a powerful young tandem to catch a budding rotation of potential stars for years to come. And as for Brandon Montgomery, the 2024 12th overall pick had some of the best raw power in this year's draft. But projected as a potential 30 home run switch hitting right fielder, Montgomery has all the strength needed to be a very productive contributor in the outfield. Lastly, in the Garrett Crochet trade, the White Sox also added utility infielder Chase Medroth, a solid middle infielder who doesn't wow in terms of any particular skill set, but can play right away for a team that desperately needs some bats and has the tendency to put the ball in play, not striking out a ton. With these 4 young players, the White Sox add a bunch of years to their future team, adding desperately needed star potential bats to aid a future rotation that already looks very nice. And in terms of improving this team even more, or at least the future of this team, I could see the White Sox making another big trade or two to acquire more young prospect talent. The Garrett Crochet trade netted them a bit more than I expected, meaning that we really could be in a seller's market. And while no player could get a similar return that Crochet did, the White Sox could capitalize on this market to hoard even more young talent. Starting with Luis Robert, who is probably the only other big name on this team who could net a huge return after the Crochet trade, I personally think that the White Sox should extend or hold on to him, given how good he was in 2023 and the team control he has left to work out a new deal, not becoming a free agent until after the 2027 season. However, at the same time, I could also see the White Sox moving on from him if they get an offer that they can't refuse. My breaking point would be something like this. Luis Robert gets sent to the Mets for former top third base prospect Brett Beatty, 2024 first-round pick Carson Benji, and outfielder Nick Morabito. I like this trade for the White Sox because they would get 3 young, controllable position players with either average to above average potential with different tools. Beatty, a former top prospect, really needs a change of scenery to hopefully revive his career. Hopefully, the bat-to-ball skills and power see themselves come to fruition in Chicago. Meanwhile, Benji and Morabito are 2 outfield prospects, both with excellent defense and range and burgeoning bat-to-ball skills, and in Benji's case, a ton of power. However, I do want to reiterate that there should be no desperation in trading Luis Robert. He's the face of the franchise and could be the leader for the next potential playoff-bound White Sox team. However, at the same time, the prospects that the White Sox could acquire in this trade could be huge for their future as well. And as for other means of improvement, while the draft anti-tanking stipulations do hurt the chance of getting a top-level prospect, college-level bats always fall to the middle of the first round, and I think that the White Sox could add some more star talent with the 10th pick in this year's draft. While long shot, Devin Taylor would be a dream selection for the White Sox in their rebuild in this spot. As a collegiate outfielder, his timeline closely resembles the rest of the prospects that are set to become quality players at the major league level. And he is one of the better pure hitters in this draft class, with a great plate discipline from the left-handed side and sneaky pop. And although I don't believe right now that Taylor will be there when the White Sox are drafting, there are always risers and fallers every draft season, and worst case scenario, another elite collegiate bat will be there, giving the White Sox exactly what they need in a quality bat to lead them out of this rebuild by being a productive hitter, presumably in a corner outfield position. Overall, while the present does look a little lackluster, all rebuilds will eventually come to an end, and the White Sox are showcasing some competitive signs down on the farm system to create a sustainable contention window led by super strong pitching. Additionally, the White Sox have smartly used the assets on the major league team to create a more well-rounded future as well. The Crochet trade speaks volumes that management knows the direction this team is going and are willing to work towards nothing to eventually turn it around. And they got the star young players to make it happen. The White Sox are currently in the basement, but we said the same thing about all rebuilding teams a couple of years ago, like the Orioles in 2021 or the Astros in the 2010s, and look at how far they've gone. And the steps they took are similar to what the steps the White Sox are taking right now, a very encouraging sign. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below new video ideas. Also, comment down below if you like these types of team reviews or if you would like to see another team. I just finished my semester, so I should be making a couple more videos as the month goes on, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless.